It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
It doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Check. There we go. I was muted. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Gaming Daily Live. I am your host, Icy Gaming, as always. Happy Monday. We are doing it different today. If you guys remember from last week, we're switching up the format. Our normal format where we used to react to the news and the top headlines, we are doing away with that. We are getting straight into the meat and potatoes with very, very exciting interviews. And I'm super thrilled and excited today for today's interview, as well as we've got a crazy lineup this week, guys. Let's check out the schedule real quick. If I pull that up, today we are talking with Celeste Ang from Virtuals Protocol, which is very, very exciting. Tomorrow, we've got Mason Rich from Golden Tides. A little controversial. We got some stuff that we're going to get into there. Wednesday, we have a surprise guest. We're still figuring that out, so stay tuned for that one. Doji in the building. Good to see you, bro. And then Thursday, we've got Jake Lynch, former VC investor at L1D, starting his own prediction, sports betting, pool platform, which is going to be really, really exciting. But I am so excited to talk to Celeste today, and we've got her backstage. So I don't want to hold her up much longer. I think that we should just get into that. But before we do, you guys know we have to thank the sponsors that make this show possible. Of course, starting with YGG Play and all other games that they're building. They are the home of casual DGen games powered by Yield Guild. And of course, we're also, they're the producers and publishers of incredible games like Lowland, Giga Chad Bat, Waifu Sweeper. You see all of the logos there. We got to shout out Blaze, our streaming platform partner. We're live on Blaze right now. Shout out to Doffer. Shout out to Black Fox. Shout out to the partners that make this show possible. But guys, Celeste is backstage, and I want to bring her up right away. She's an incredible builder, core contributor to Virtuals, and we've got a lot to talk about in terms of AI agents, the future of AI, and all that good stuff. So we're going to throw up the away screen. We're going to be back in 10-15 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with Celeste.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
Doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work?
All right, we are live with Celeste from Virtuals. Celeste, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hello, thanks so much for having me. I'm doing great. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, it's good to see you. So we met at GDC in San Francisco a few weeks ago through a mutual friend. You are back in like Singapore now, so it's like super early for you. Thank you so much for making the time.
No worries. It was super cool to meet in San Francisco. I was there for GDC. Actually, not just GDC, but also a bunch of EVE conferences as well as tech events. Back in Singapore, which is closer to home for now. Yeah.
So why don't we do like a quick little intro background on what you work on, what your position is, and just a little bit about yourself, Celeste, for anyone that's unfamiliar. You're a core contributor at Virtuals, and I know you work a lot on kind of the commerce agentic side of things. But yeah, I just want to kind of give you the platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So my name is Celeste. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Head of Developer Relations at Virtuals, also a core contributor. Basically, I've been working in Virtuals for slightly over a year. I focus very much on like the agentic commerce side of things. So if you've been building on we built this product called ACP, Agent Commerce Protocol. Protocol for agents to buy and sell stuff from one another, monetize their services. And we've been building this product for like a lot of the past year I've been working, Virtuals have been focused on, onboarding builders to this, working with our SDK, helping developers debug their stuff, working on our product roadmap. And before I was in Virtuals, I was working in data science for a number of years. Building, machine learning models, data engineering pipelines for like the likes of Grab, Oliver Wyman Consulting, ride-hailing space, etc. So yeah, that's what I work on.
I love that. I have been going so deep into AI, Celeste, so I'm super excited to chat with you. It must be quite surreal for you, or let me ask rather, how does it feel to have like this explosion of AI and it to really be this dominant narrative? I guess like you've been working in it for so long, so maybe you saw where a lot of this was going, but like, is it surreal to have it all happening?
To be honest, it's still super exciting to me every day. I've been working on AI for some time. Probably like since I started in the field about like 10 years ago. I'm a little bit old. I should stop mentioning my age. But since I think there were multiple breakthroughs in the realm of AI. Back then there was this like period of time where everybody was talking about like attention models, there was this period of time when transformer models were very popular, and it really changed things. Like, we realized that, vision models, language models were getting really, really good, and people were getting very excited about it. And, we thought that, it'll be like a number of years before there'll be another like major breakthrough, but it feels like in recent years, like things have really like sped up. I think with agents, it really adds a different layer of dimension to what we can do. And I think that's what a lot of people have been realizing. Like so many of my friends and colleagues have been just very excitedly telling me, they've never it feels like a really a time to be alive. Like you can just have personal agents, multiple of them just running like in the background and doing your job for you. it's like quite funny because like when I go to meet my friends for, you know, lunch or dinner, they'll be talking about how, oh, you know, I was trying to like set up my agents to run while I was like, well, before I came here for lunch so that, you know, they can all do my work and, you know, I basically don't have to be there. Like basically everyone's agent is running all the time. Everybody's building an OpenClaw. Just super exciting time to be alive. And yeah, who knows whether we'll still have jobs in a number of years, right?
It's crazy. The AI psychosis, they call it, is real. Like I tweeted out in January that I didn't have an agent doing anything for me, and that was like it felt like deeply disturbing. And now like I have, you know, 3 or 4 agents and like I'm talking to them every day, and I feel much better about that, but at the same time I still feel it's moving so fast that it's hard to keep up. So I want to dive into all of that with you, Celeste, but real quick I just have to shout out, I apologize, V Roshi with the 50 votes on the Blaze stage. I appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by the stream. If you have any questions about AI and AI agents, Celeste is the guest that you want to ask. So before we get into OpenClaw and all of the, you know, all of the rage today, Celeste, I want to ask you, like, how did you end up at Virtuals? Were you always like crypto, you know, native and like open to crypto, or was there kind of like a transition from that? Just curious about that backstory.
Sure. Actually, I would say I'll consider myself primarily an data and AI person. I've worked in data and AI for a number of years.
Yeah.
Before that, before agents was all the rage, I was mostly building models, machine learning models, building data pipelines, building data science models. So like, for those based in Southeast Asia, or even those based in the US, you guys would be familiar with Uber. I basically worked in the Uber of Southeast Asia, where I built models to recommend people the most, you know, the most suitable offers at each point in time for them to use the app, so that, you know, it can really push like demand, increase demand for users to, you know, book the most suitable food delivery at the right time. So that's what I worked on at Grab, which is Uber of Southeast Asia. I also worked on like tech consulting and a few other areas like consumer goods. Just building data science models, usually on the demand side of things, on the promotion side of things. So like, honestly, getting into crypto was, I would say, kind of happened like a few years back. And I'm not super deep into the trenches compared to a lot of other people, like, you know, people I meet in crypto. So, but I'm very much focused on like, you know, being a builder, doing agents, but being very intrigued. I've always been very intrigued in the tech side of things for crypto. So like, how I got into Virtuals and crypto was actually like, it actually started like a few years back, when my friends who happened to work in Virtuals like asked me if I wanted to be part of the team. At a point in time, like this was like pretty early in 2024. I realized that they were working on agents, and I told them like how crazy it was to be working on agents in early 2024, because I think we all know that back then LLMs were getting good, but they were far from being like legit agents. Like there were so many things you had to glue together to kind of make agents which somewhat make sense. So it just felt super, super early. And I told them like, hey, you guys are crazy. This is like super early. But if you want to try it, you can try it. And yeah, and then they were like, why don't you help us like try it out? And then initially I was a bit like, you know, I was like kind of doubting them and doubting myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like how ambitious the team was. It's always cool to work with people who have foresight and want to push the boundaries of tech. So initially, I worked with the team in a freelance basis. I worked on the very initial versions of Luna. And back then, I was a freelancer at Virtuals. later on I found that hey, a lot of this is super cool, and other than just working on like the virtual stuff, I was also working in AI, like in industry, and I realized that hey, things were progressing fast, and if I wanted to learn super quickly and also build super quickly, there's no better place to be rather than at Virtuals. So that's actually why I joined Virtuals like later on as a full-timer as well. And that's when I started working on like agent frameworks, agent commerce stuff and all that.
I love that. I love that. Why did you feel that Virtuals was the best place to work for that? What was it about them at that time?
Because I think you need to be at a company where people are willing to really push the boundaries of tech and like dream super, super big. And I knew the people at Virtuals, like I knew that they would be super keen on doing all those crazy stuff and like basically dream big and dream crazy together with me. For my initial, time working with them and kind of like growing with them, working with them over time. So I knew that, they had the potential and the ability to dream big and build crazy things with me. So that's one. But another thing is I also felt that the agentic commerce meta combined with blockchain had a lot of potential. And I felt that Virtuals was very well placed to do that because they already started doing experiments, stuff like, it sounded crazy at the point in time, but like, have building just agents who are your personal assistant. And then like kind of adding on to that, giving agents wallets. But there was so much more to that. At that point, it just sounded like games and experiments. But then, the ability to experiment with that and actually having the frameworks and the foundations in place. Because at that point in time, they were building these experiments. They were also starting out of this like token launchpad stuff with agent tokens. And it felt like it was all setting up the foundations to, building interesting frameworks and use cases for agents to do commerce, for agents to really, do a lot of other interesting stuff and work on a lot of interesting tech related to that. So I'm a person who's very intrigued by interesting tech and interesting use cases. So it just felt like it was a good place to be. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, no, Virtuals, I participated in the whole mania, when, what was that, like the fall of 2024, I guess, when everything really blew up for the first time. And it was this, it's hard to describe that moment because it was like it was like a Cambrian explosion of ideas, creativity, possibilities, where like it felt like for the first time AI agents are here and oh my goodness, like what can they do? AI XBT was, the smartest, and then you had I was like a big fan of Zerebro at one point. Like the music that Zerebro was making was so cool. I still will listen to like Gutter Boy from Zerebro, and it was just wild. I thought it was like, it felt like the singularity was here. I was like, oh my goodness, this is mind blowing. And obviously that was like kind of the first inning of AI agents and what they could be. And I've met some of the Virtuals team. I love how resilient and robust this project has been, and how they continue to be really at the forefront of exploring AI agents and crypto and what that really looks like. I guess, Celeste, let me ask you, what is, like, if someone were coming to Virtuals today, maybe not knowing much about Virtuals, how would you describe the current state of Virtuals, what it is, what people are doing, and kind of like what the approach is? Because I think that'll probably lay a good framework, getting into agentic commerce and things like that. But like, how would you explain Virtuals to somebody who didn't know anything about it today?
I would say three primary primary things. One is what many people term as the token launchpad, but we see this as the Wall Street for agents. Where you basically trade agents. Capital formation for agents takes place. We see ourselves as the platform to do that. That's kind of where it started. Second thing, agent commerce protocol, which we think about as the Amazon for AI agents, where people can go to the platform or agents can go to the platform and browse for the most suitable agent to do something. We have a protocol, which is called ERC 8183, which forms the foundation of a lot of the blockchain tech behind the agentic commerce stuff we are working on. It allows agents to pay one another in a trustless, secure manner, because basically funds are actually kept in escrow. It's not actually released till the end of the jobs when actually the deliverable is evaluated by a third-party evaluator. We are actually working on some other initiatives with builders, EF, and basically different partners to kind of just improve this protocol over time. We think there's a lot of things you can do in the trusted side of things for agentic commerce. Anyway, the third thing, which is a little bit newer, is the robotic stuff, where we think that robots can become agents as well. And we think that that's a huge amount of potential. But we think that that's also super early. But that might be, hey, the next big thing. Who knows? A lot of stuff, exciting stuff we're building on in that area as well. But yeah, it's the main product lines.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's such an exciting time because it feels like a whole new world. I can totally see where, like, Elon's Optimus robots like have my OpenClaw agent personality like in there, and it knows everything, right? It's like getting a new iPhone and you log in with your Apple ID or whatever, and it just has all your information. I feel like that's like we will have robots in the future that feel very personal and are able to like know you like a friend and be able to do stuff for you. It's going to be absolutely wild. I guess, like, do you see it that way? And is there anything else that's like really interesting or exciting about what that future agentic robot looks like to you that you're like, oh wow, like I'm gonna have it, I don't know, go build something outside or something. I have no idea. I mean, people are gonna use this stuff in all sorts of ways.
No, honestly, I think we are quite early in this tech.
Yeah.
To be very honest, as the technologies and exploring what's available in the market and even seeing what our team has been working on internally. But I'll say you guys will hear very interesting updates on this from us like very soon. We are the same way we've been experimenting with agent wallets like since 2024. We are literally in this time, in this phase of time for robotics, and we are doing all this crazy but stupid experiments, and you will see some teaser of this very soon. That's all I'll share. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but on actually how we how we are actually doing all this experiments. I'll say we have this team of people building a bunch of bespoke stuff, and yeah, you'll see more soon. That's all shit.
Very excited. No, Virtuals is always cooking up. Let's go back to the commerce layer for AI agents, because I think that this is really, really interesting, right? Because the Venn diagram of crypto and then AI, like people are saying, is a match made in heaven. This is we thought we were building crypto for humans. It turns out we were actually building crypto for the agents. And so Virtuals was very early to, agent wallets and what that could look like. I have not been up to date on my homework with Virtuals and ERC 8183. So maybe you can give me a quick primer over how this protocol works and kind of how it was designed. Obviously, ERC, we love that. It's on ETH. And yeah, I'm just curious how this looks like, because obviously agent to agent transactions is going to be really big. I guess I see a lot from like, what is it, the X402 protocol. So maybe it'd be good to understand where that is similar, where it's different, but we can start with ERC 8183.
For sure. So to explain this better, it might make sense to kind of like rewind 1 year prior to this. When like sometime in February or March 2025, we kind of released this white paper, which talks about the Agent Commerce Protocol. That's kind of where everything started. The paper was kind of inspired by a lot of the experiments we started doing in 2024 about how we give agents wallets and then just let them buy and sell stuff from one another, but mainly in an experimental way. So when we actually like released the white paper, we talked about how smart contracts could actually change things up, because we talked about how agent commerce has a number of steps like request, negotiation, transaction, evaluation, and actually completing a job. So we talk about how each commerce transaction always has a buyer and seller. When the buyer makes a request, and then the seller actually kind of accepts it, the buyer would pay for it. And we thought all of this for all of these steps, it will really make sense for all of these to be recorded on chain, so that the results are reliable, and we can also use the escrow to kind of keep these funds from the buyer. So it's not just a case of how easy it is. It's how easy it is possible for agents to actually rug one another when they're actually paying each other. Because if a buyer actually pays for it, the seller takes the money, you can just kind of just not give anything. And there'll be no guardrails around it whatsoever. So in our initial experiments, that's what I realized. Sometimes on purpose, the seller is a bad actor, but sometimes the seller is just hallucinating. It just kind of thought, oh yeah, I'm supposed to give something, and then takes the money and hallucinates.
Well, we've seen a few of these stories,
whatever.
right? I mean, the bot recently, what was the lobster wild bot that sent $250,000 to somebody by mistake, and then there was an old one, I forget the name, it was like Felix or something like that, where it was actually a bounty, they had $50K, maybe from Mark Andreessen or something, and they were trying to reverse prompt, convince the bot to sell or to send you the 50K or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, all of this is still kind of being figured out, right?
Exactly. And we kind of knew a lot of these issues would come out because of how we were experimenting since early on. So we were oh, how do we actually put some sort of guardrails over it? So we talked about how in traditional finance there's a concept of escrows already. The likes of PayPal, major financial institutions, they would actually keep the money in an escrow. Thing is, when we're working on blockchain, the power of blockchain is that there's a concept of decentralization. So when you actually keep the money in escrow, and actually wait for the seller to produce the goods, maybe you're supposed to, I don't know, generate a marketing campaign, maybe some marketing assets or something like that. So seller would actually go and start building and kind of creating it, and the funds at this point are still kept in the escrow. The seller actually has to deliver the goods, and ensure that and a third party evaluator has to come in to kind of check if the goods are good enough. Obviously, this works on the assumption that the third party evaluator is pretty good at its job and actually checks if the deliverable is good. But assuming all checks out, the deliverable will kind of sign on the memo, and the goods will then be, the funds would then be released to the seller, and then the goods will be delivered to the buyer. Now, as you can see, there's an inherent guardrail around this, because if at any point in time, if the seller is actually a bad actor, hallucinates or whatever, just doesn't deliver a satisfactory like result, after an expiry period, the funds actually get released back to the buyer. So the buyer feels safe. You know, when you actually buy stuff, you want to feel safe spending the money. It's the same for agents and same for, you know, agentic commerce on smart contracts. You know, you want to be able to kind of put in the money, but know that you will get something good out of it. So that's kind of like the core concept behind the agent commerce protocol when we first designed it. You know, if the job gets rejected, if the job doesn't get a good deliverable, the money just gets released back to the buyer. It's just get real. And with the decentralization part of things, instead of having a central party or institution actually like checking if the funds are worthy to be released to the seller, it's actually a third party evaluator agent. This could be a group of agents. This could be a single agent. In this protocol, it's of course a little bit more conceptual, but then what we realized after releasing white paper, there was a lot of excitement around it. Like a lot of people like saying, you guys should just build this, you know, or oh yeah, you know, this is like, you know, a little bit complex. Are you sure you want to record everything on chain? Why do you need this when you have like central financial institutions? You know, there were just a lot of mixed comments, and then we just realized at a point in time, hey, you know what? Based on, you know, what we see today, there are so many agents out there, but they are, you know, just kind of performing transactions in a more like hacky way. And we thought, hey, we should really push the forefronts of what we can do here and actually try to put this into production. Or rather, we arrived at this after a lot of like internal debates. Because like, I was one of those doctors who were like saying, this is so ridiculous. Like it's so hard already like trying to build agents who are good enough to do one-on-one transactions. But then the dream here was that, hey, we'll have clusters of agents trying to do commerce. But then in the end, we were like, okay, you know, let's just do it. So like that's when we started building initial clusters of agents. We had a hedge fund cluster of agents where a user could come to at the point in time it was Axelrod. Axelrod is like coordinated agent.
Yeah, I remember Axelrod.
Yeah, Axelrod would actually like kind of get, you know, find out from the user what's their risk profile and everything, and get kind of alpha and insights from people like agents like AXBT and all that.
Yeah. Do
some due diligence on the tokens recommended by AXBT, get some confirmation signals, and actually execute these trades. So basically, this is where you see agents like doing their coordination thing, where they buy and sell stuff from one another, and they kind of like get this consolidated output to actually execute trades for users. We also had initial clusters around marketing. There was this autonomous media house cluster where Luna was kind of the orchestrator, and, you know, getting creative assets from the likes of, I think it was director Lucian, and a few other agents getting marketing copywriting from Acolyte, and actually taking all of this together, minting it on chain for the user, so that, you know, it's actually minted on chain, and actually getting all of these assets together as a kind of like a marketing brief and marketing campaign for the end user. So like these were the initial use cases we seeded as we launched ACP as a product. And yeah, since then we just kept building. From an ecosystem point of view, we just kept onboarding builders to onboard their agents. We had agents doing all sorts of random but cool stuff. Prediction market agents. We had perps trading agents, all sorts of trading agents, very DeFi focused, but there are also things like games, marketing agents, fact-checking agents, lots of them. But after like a year of, you know, building, since, you know, we released the white paper, we realized, hey, you know what? There's also a lot more we can do from a core tech point of view. There was still little improvements we could make with the tech. Like, for example, we realized that with fund transfer jobs which involve the flow of capital funds, there's more guardrails we could add this. We could have more things like ZK proofs, proof of results and all that stuff. We could add this to the core ACP tag, but our team is just too small. Like literally, like if you see the way the Virtuals team ships, you'll be pretty impressed. Like we ship super quickly, but you know what? Even though we're always shipping, there's always just so much more we can do. I think it's because we are in the forefront of a lot of these stuff. And it just feels like, hey, we could build ecosystem, we could build the core tech, but like there's just so much we could do. I mean, and there's just so much work. So we realized, hey, maybe it's a good time to actually open source this core tech we've been working on. The stuff around Astros and all that. We also saw a lot of people building similar stuff, and we were like, why don't we just like open source it, share with everyone, so that people can actually contribute to this standard. And it's not just ours. It was never really meant to just be ours anyway. Like we wanted to be a facilitator or like ecosystem kind of play, do the ecosystem play with this by building it, bringing agents, bringing demand. But the core tech side of things, there's just so many more, smart people around, so many more people who can contribute. So that's actually where we reached out to the Ethereum Foundation. We already started, talking to them quite early on. They were working on this ERC standard called ERC 8004, which is about identity for agents and reputations for agents. Which is also the foundation for a lot of agentic commerce stuff. Now what we were like telling them is, hey, by the way, all ACP agents are registered in ERC 8004 because we think it's very important foundational tech. But we also told them, hey, we've been working on this ACP stuff for a while. We know that this escrow stuff works. And we think it's very complementary to the ERC 8004. Like, why don't we co-author something which is around that? That's kind of like a layer on top of ERC 8004, where agents don't just have identity and reputation, but they also have kind of like a standard around commerce. And this could be, the foundation of what ACP was building. We didn't want to name this just ACP because that's kind of like the facilitator or the product we've been building. So we actually kind of like, and anyway, with ERCs, you kind of give a number to it. So it's like, we kind of coined this as ERC 8183, which has a lot of the same underlying concepts of ACP, but simplified slightly with the help of our friends at EF. And basically open source that. We started setting up like community groups and all of that just to discuss this ERC. People have been making pull requests to improve it. It's been growing super quickly, like the community, and we are pretty excited because, like I said, we've always wanted to improve this foundational core technology we've been working on. And now there's just, so many people trying to contribute to this, adding more security layers to this, adding more proof layers to this, even building their own like agent registries or similar like products out there. And we think it's kind of like our little contribution to the community in general. And yeah, we're pretty excited at how, things will improve from here, which will be beneficial for ACP, but will also be beneficial to the wider community building like agentic commerce, because it was never really just meant to be ours.
Right. Yeah, no, open source is I think especially at this stage where it's so early and the grassroots are just being built. I think establishing yourself in the open source community and sharing is a major benefit, because you can really rally the community around. I mean, we saw, what happened with OpenClaw, right? So that's really cool. Thank you for that background. All things virtual, all things on the commerce side. I guess I'm curious, Celeste, and maybe this is just more of like a personal question. I know you don't speak for all of Virtuals per se, but where do you kind of see things with the explosion of Claude and OpenAI and at one point Virtuals was the fastest shipping team, but of course, lately it's just been, holy crap, every other day there's a new announcement from OpenClaw, Claude, or OpenAI, and it ships so fast. And it's wild. So I guess like where do you see Virtuals kind of sitting in that picture of what's happening with Claude, what's happening with OpenAI, what's happening with OpenClaw, and where you guys see, you know, being able to push forward, you know, the ACP and this infrastructure layer for payments. Because I think so many businesses and projects are like reevaluating where they stand in this new landscape of AI. But I'm sure, you know, Virtuals has been very much on the forefront of things. So yeah, I'm just curious how you guys think of that. Is it like the case that, wow, Claude, you know, Codex, these are incredible coding tools. We want to integrate things. We want to be a part of this. We want to add to it, contribute to it. You know, are you guys looking into OpenClaw as potential things? You know, do you guys see more potential with what agents can now do? Maybe a very loaded question, but I'm just curious how you think about the landscape.
I think just to clarify here, we don't see ourselves as competitors to the likes of Claude and OpenAI and OpenClaw. We see ourselves as complementary. So when you build, you know, agents on ACP, you could use any model you build on. Basically, you could use Claude, you could use OpenAI, and we even provided like a skill for you to build your agents on ACP, so they all links up nicely with your OpenClaw agent, and all of that. So we see ourselves as complementary, and we don't see ourselves as competitor to the likes of like X402 as well, or like 8004. All these are protocols, but we see this as all fundamental building blocks towards fundamental building blocks which would allow you to help create a good agent on ACP. I think we see ourselves in terms of ACP, we kind of, I mean, obviously this might evolve over time, but we kind of see ourselves as a commerce platform for agents that is a combination of the benefits of Web3 blockchain as well as like well-built agents. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? So it's a platform where, hey, you're using your OpenClaw, you're building these agents. If you want to tap into, if you want to bring your agent into crypto, Virtuals, ACP, we are the platform for you. Is that kind of right?
Correct, but not necessarily only crypto, but basically anyone who wants to leverage the benefits of crypto. We actually want to make this friendly for non-crypto users as well. But yes, if you want to kind of leverage the strength of, you know, like trustless commerce, you kind of want to, or you want to use, you know, payments with stable coins, leverage a lot of these benefits. You want things to be decentralized, or you actually want to kind of leverage the privacy side of things for blockchain. There's actually a lot which we are cooking in that area as well, all fundamentally kind of backing like the foundations of ACP. So we see ourselves as kind of that layer which abstracts over all this complexity as, you know, unified, both from a builder perspective, like unified kind of architecture around it, and also from an ecosystem point of view, an ecosystem layer over a lot of like strong builders and agents, a marketplace of agents, both in Web 2 and Web 3, that, you know, are leveraging this technology.
Yeah, I love that. That feels like the right approach. Do you guys have any projections or maybe like predictions or just kind of like general outlook and perspective on, you know, how big this can grow? You know, I see a lot of like Mark Cuban and other you know, Sam Altman, and it's like, the GDP of like agents can be larger than the GDP of humans, right? It's really could be unlimited, and we're gonna have billions of agents doing things on our behalves, and they're going to have their own society, right? Virtuals is, the society of AI agents, and, they're going to have their own marketplaces and skills and just be doing stuff. And yeah, they'll be transacting, and they're going to need likely crypto rails for that, whether it's, ACP, it's X402, it's something else that maybe they invent themselves, but they're going to be using crypto rails, for a lot of these payments and microtransactions and things like that. I guess, like, once again, to reiterate the question, where do you guys see this kind of going? And obviously any kind of numbers, it's all speculative to a degree, but is that how you guys view it? It's like agents, there'll be 10 billion agents at some point, and the GDP will be absolutely enormous.
I think we basically see our wider company vision as being the society of AI agents, the place where agents, like agent builders, go to get the capital and kind of monetize their agents. And in terms of how we align our North Star around that, actually our North Star is around this concept of agentic GDP, which is an agentic GDP is basically the measure of the economic value of agents. Oh, yes, you have it there. Yes, it's kind of the measure of the economic kind of output by autonomous AI agents. Thank you so much. So just so I remember the exact word. No, but we truly mean it. We've been measuring this metric. Initially, it was internally. Now we openly measure it on our website. And we on this like kind of like a metric tracker, which we call ACP scan. So we actually measure like agentic GDP as well. And we hold ourselves accountable to it. Like, we don't just measure it, but our goal here is actually more relative rather than an actual number we're aiming for. We are actually aiming for agentic GDP to surpass that of human GDP. And we think that one day, this probably would actually happen. And I think if you ask us like maybe half a year ago or 1 year ago, we would think that we are super far off, simply because it felt like the tech was far away. But it feels like in recent months, things have really changed up a lot. And I think more and more people are beginning to see that this is actually very much possible, because so much of what humans have been doing are getting like increasingly automated by agents. I think like so many of us are just multitasking with our agents or little slaves kind of working in the background now, right? And I think this will continue to change with robotics. We think that robotics is actually going to bridge the gap between agents in software and agents in the physical world. And that we think that that's actually one major unlock. Now, the tech is early, but once we kind of reach a breakthrough point, similar to how like there's been so many breakthroughs in agents and LLMs in recent months, once we kind of reach that breakthrough point for robotics, I think that we'll get a lot closer to that goal. And all of this will kind of like line up kind of to get us a lot closer to our North Star, where agentic GDP is really surpassing human GDP. And I guess that one day that day will actually come, right? Where so many of the things we do will be performed by agents. And we hope that when that day comes, a lot of them will be agents we actually help to facilitate and build with like ERC, the likes of ERC A183 and ACP and all of that, or like builders we actually work with. Obviously, a lot of the tech we're building is aiming towards that. So yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah.
Yes, it'll also be super cool if they don't murder us and humanity as
hopefully
as we know
not. Hopefully not.
Celeste, I want to ask, like, what are some of the surprising or exciting things that you guys have seen agents do that you're like, whoa, like this is happening. Like, you know, again, 2024, it was like, oh, they can tweet and, you know, they're funny on Twitter, or they made music. Like, wow, this is incredible. But we've come such a far way since then. So I'm curious, you know, on the AGP side of things, or ACP side of things, like what kinds of case studies or examples have you guys seen of like, wow, this agent was hired to do this and it produced this, or this agent's making money, or just anything kind of like that that's been happening on the platform lately that you guys are like, whoa, like this is the future?
I think we probably have the highest like one of the highest density of like trading agents. And what we anecdotally hear from we don't actually record like testimonials or anything from people who use our agents and all that, but we actually hear anecdotally from agents on our platform that, hey, we have users who actually use our tech and got like all these earnings from using, you know, our trade execution agents, or like getting insights from some of your insights agents that actually executing trades from us. So those kind of stories are really what like inspires us. We also hear of people who talk about how they actually try to promote a real brand, like small business owners who actually go to our like marketing agents and they just say, oh, can you help me do this? And it just creates like a whole like distribution for them. Like, it's pretty cool. Like literally just takes a very small brief and actually helps them plan a whole marketing distribution and campaign around them. So I think these are all pretty interesting use cases. Honestly, we are barely scraping the surface now, because we feel like a lot of our agents are focused on DeFi now, or like certain use cases, but we think that, you know, eventually there'll be more and more agents coming in and they'll do even more cool stuff. But it's just sharing some interesting examples. Yeah.
Looking forward, I know you can't talk too much about the robotic stuff. You're kind of teasing some updates coming. It's certainly on the website, things like that. But maybe what other areas of focus does Virtual, or like maybe even yourself, right? Because we were talking about OpenClaw and the things that people are doing, and how exciting all of this explosion of ideas and possibility is. So I guess like looking out 2026, you know, we are at the very early beginnings of this AI, you know, dare I say revolution, or evolution. And so I guess like, is it on the commerce side is super interesting. I think the robotic side is super interesting. Payments, you know, automations, workflows, people, you know, personal assistants, people are running their marketing, people are doing, you know, revolutioning their finances, you know, restructuring like their entire, you know, organizations and companies and all of that stuff. It's so hard to predict. It's so hard to, I guess, like, let me ask that quick question. Is there any tips that you guys have for just like navigating the AI space as someone who's been, you know, in it and building for quite a while? I know you got to jump in a few minutes, so maybe we'll just end off with some of those tips of like, hey, it's crazy, but like, you know, here's some of the stuff that we've learned that that have helped us kind of, you know, ingest everything, but at the same time stay focused on you know, making sense of everything that's happening.
I think this will probably, not speaking for my company here, but just speaking for myself and my personal mantra, like how I kind of navigate this super fast moving industry in AI, which honestly, I've been in tech and AI for a while. So I've always been trying to navigate and keep up. So I totally understand the FOMO which everyone is feeling. I always think of the most important skill in tech and AI as the ability to learn quickly and adapt quickly. There will always be new technologies. There will always be a new model out there. My tip to everyone is to find the most efficient way for you to pick up a skill or knowledge quickly. Actually, with AI today, that's a possible tool you can use already. And just, be super smart with how you navigate change, or pick the things to focus on, to learn, pick the stuff you want to focus on learning, like intelligently, like,
Yeah.
which are the tech which are just noise, while which look like they are going to really change things up, and focus on learning those stuff in an efficient way. I think that will help you stay sane, or like not actually trying to learn everything at once, but also keep up with the times. Yeah.
That's really great advice. There's a really great quote. It's like, if you get new information but you don't like act on it or do anything with it, then you didn't learn, and it's not like, it was not a good use of your time, because you're not actually doing anything with it. So it's really important to like be intentional, and maybe make sure that if you are going to learn something or spend time on it, that you find ways to practically use it and make it a good use of your time and change your life and all of those good things. Celeste, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. What is the best way for people to follow you, to stay up to date with what you got going on with Virtuals? Is it following you on Twitter, following Virtuals? Should people check out the platform? Should they jump in the Discord? Where do we want to direct people?
I would say follow Virtuals on X. We are very active there. Follow me on X as well, because I tend to post stuff from a more builder or product perspective. And feel free to, just reach out to me via X or DMs if you have any questions about Virtuals. Please explore ACP. There's so many cool agents you can work with. We have an OpenClaw skill as well. And yeah, it's been super nice hanging around the show. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Celeste, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. I know you got to jump, but we should do this again in a few months. We'll check in. You can be our resident AI correspondent here. But appreciate the work that you and Virtuals are doing. And yeah, I appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye, Celeste. Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, guys. That was Celeste Ang from Virtuals. She was awesome. Thank you so much for the time. How we feeling? A little bit more on the technical side. But and if that's not up your alley, guys, no worries. Can't blame a goop for gooping. The thing is, for me, guys, I'm all in on AI. I'm so interested. I can't see your hands. How do you type? Oh, that's an old chat. Why'd that chat not like update? That's interesting. Was ACP versus X42. Dude, I know. I'm sorry, Llama. I'm sorry. So we did ask about ACP versus 402. And she said that they wants to be like collaborative, and it's like something that is complementary to X402. I actually haven't looked into MPP yet. So thank you for putting me onto that. AI chat, the first thing I hear when I wake up and went to stream, stimulates the brain. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I saw you mention that it was Stripe's thing, and I do want to like dive into it. Stripe is obviously very forward thinking when it comes to crypto, when it comes to payments, obviously. So I think it's smart for them to be leaning into the AI side of things. So yeah, it's cool. It's really cool to be able to chat with someone directly from Virtuals. I'm like honored about that. Because I do think that they're doing some really, they've been on the cutting edge. They were really early to this, right? And so I do also though get the sense, and I didn't want to ask it, but I'm like super curious, like, how are you guys gonna keep up with Claude, with OpenClaw, But I don't think that they're trying to do that. I think that they're the payments layer. the payments protocol kind of on top of that, bringing together the marketplaces and, being an additive around everything that's happening there. So that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Guys, I didn't really go hard with the prep for the show today, but I did want to just kind of like quickly kind of go through some of the news that we did have up here. Berna is not happy with Golden Tides. A lot of people are not happy with Golden Tides, which makes tomorrow's interview very, very interesting. I am looking forward to talking to Mason and Devin from Golden Tides. We have some hard questions, and we're going to ask, and we'll see what they say. Oh my goodness, this is like all of it. What else do we got? Is this all Golden Tides? Let's see. Speaking of the Sinjin Arctic Cal, we talked about it on Gaming Daily. I agree. It was a really great article. Why Web3 game design checklists keep failing. Most developers think that Web3 gaming success comes from following simple checklists, but that approach consistently fails. The economic design docs can be 40 pages long. Dude, yeah, the design docs are insane. Like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Yeah, dude. Yeah, Llama. Good on them for taking the interview for sure. So big shout out to Sinjin on that article. Let's see. What else do we got? CG77 with the backstage 7 votes. As I pull up the CG777 post about, guys, Blaze being the best platform. Thank you for the votes. Thank you, brother. I'm trying to go through. Oh man, I thought I had some more stuff. my guy with the votes. There was some news that I did want to talk about, but I don't remember what it was now, and I did not pull it up. Really just wanted to do the interviews. But there was something, man. There was something that was like seemed relevant. What's good? Llama with the 7 months, 777 for a reason, my guy. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Oh, here's one. Here's a good one that I wanted to reference. Shout out to Tonin, man. Shout out to Tonin. These autopsy reports have been incredible. And this one is on the Mystery Society? Which was a great game. And this one was like, this one was kind of a positive one where he said the space did not deserve Chris Heatherly because he could have launched a token and rugged, and he chose not to, just couldn't get funding for the game. And then kind of was forced to shut it down. I'm actually trying to get Chris Heatherly on the show. Oh, is that what? Oh, that's why the chat is like that. I have it all the way down. I see what's going on here. The chat doesn't like work for this view though. That's the problem. I'm gonna have to work on that, guys. Heatherly is so goated. Sam Stefanina in the building. Going to be an awesome interview. Excited for that. Appreciate you. Sam in the YouTube chats. Guys, if you're not following Sam Stefanina on YouTube, you need to be, because that's where the new episodes of Gamified are dropping. And the clips are starting to show up in my feed and everything, Sam. Like, what a great time to be alive. The clips are really good. If you guys have not seen the Gamified clips, you're missing out. I don't think I'm going to be able to format them well enough if I bring them on the page. We are entering into the casual portion of this show. Let's see. What does this look like? Yeah, look at my guy there. Clips are on point. I think a clip of Knock just like appeared on my timeline today. I don't even know which one it was at this point. But they're doing well. Was it this one? Yeah.
to change the map and then force competitive play on live servers. There's one particular instance in Katowice, Poland 2019, where we had trained for 2 weeks on a particular map. We woke up day of the tournament, $2 million prize pool, brand new map nobody's ever seen before. And he did that on multiple occasions. He was my nightmare as a Fortnite competitive player.
I've also invited Knock. We're going to get Knock onto the show at some point. Knock has a major new position that not that many people know about. And I didn't even know about it until I saw him at GDC. And I was like, whoa, dude, that's major. That's super exciting. We need to talk about that. So we didn't have a chance to do an interview at GDC. So we're bringing him onto the show. So we'll have that coming for you guys soon. Guys, I feel like that's it. we got a rough ending to the show. We're trying to do this new format. I'm still working out some of the kinks, guys. So you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm a little flustered because Sam jumped in at the last minute. CG77 jumped in at the last minute. We were rocking this whole time. Me and Llama talking to Celeste about AI, and then all the homies want to join up as we're signing off, and I don't know how to sign off anymore. I guess this is the way to sign off, right? Let's talk about the schedule for this week. Big schedule. Very, very exciting. Tomorrow, hotly contested, highly debated, some would say controversial episode. I'm getting DMs about like, don't have Golden Tides on the show. That people are not happy. That's how people are not happy. But I want to give them a platform to address the controversy and address the drama. And I have the hard hitting questions. So I think we should hear it straight from the horse's mouth. We don't have to like it. But let's at least ask the questions and see what they have to say. Right. Wednesday, Sam said we're gonna have Golden Tides again. No, we'll fill a spot for Wednesday. I was thinking Knock. I was thinking Chris Heatherly. That spot doesn't work for neither of them. So I got a few other people in mind. I'm trying to figure out what's going on this week. So stay tuned. Surprise guest on Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'm really excited to talk to Jake Lynch. If you guys don't know, he was a former VC at L1D, which is a firm out of like Boston/New York. I met him at Solana Boston, ETH Boston last fall. He left L1D. Well, first of all, L1D invested into Fableborn. So they're a big gaming VC investor. So I do want to talk to him about that, his experiences at a VC fund and investing into games, and, like maybe a little bit of a retrospective, especially now that he's left. Maybe we'll get some interesting insights there. Interviewing Sam on the state of yapping on the internet. And he is starting a new project called We Like Sports, which is a platform for sports betting pools with your friends. So that'll be really interesting. I'm curious if there's like some prediction market stuff there. Either way, super sharp guy, super great guy. Should be a really good conversation. And then, as you guys know, on Friday, we are hosting the Icy Cup. Very exciting Heroes of Hold'em tournament at 1 p.m. EST with a bunch of my best friends and your favorite people in the space. So that should be really exciting. The boy Dev, thank you so much for tuning in, stopping by the stream, showing some love. Don't join any sports betting pools with Knock or Oliver. Those dudes are sharks. Yeah, the boy Dev, it's going to be a stacked week, which I'm very excited about. I'm also excited about it being presented by YGG Play and being streamed directly onto Blaze because they are the sponsors that make this show possible. So big shout out to YGG Play. Big shout out to Blaze. You guys, can we just talk about Blaze real quick? This isn't even an ad read. I just tweeted this out over the weekend. Like $129 for my first week so far. That's just in the spotlight funds. I think from like the donation side of things, I think I'm up to like $300 or something, which is absolutely insane. I forget, like, where do I go to like see that? Is it my wallet? Yeah, we're at like $350 in subscriptions, in subscribers, in gifted subs. You guys have been absolutely incredible, and feeling a lot of the love on Blaze. Feeling the community, getting to connect with some of the community has been awesome. I was in Tower Boy's stream over the weekend, or Tower Dog, his stream over the weekend. A bunch of the Wayfinders were streaming. It's been really cool, man. It's been really cool. That is going to do it for today's Gaming Daily Live. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Slightly different format today. I think it's a bit more efficient. And so hopefully you guys like it. Llama, let me know, man. You've been a day one supporter, so let me know what you think of the straight on interviews, which tomorrow should be really exciting because we're getting right into Golden Tides. It's going to be crazy. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Icy Gaming. This is Gaming Daily Live. We will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. EST on Twitch, Blaze, YouTube, Twitter, X, all of those good places. So until then, stay humble, keep gaming, keep dreaming, and I'll see you then. Peace.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box. These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box. These are facts.